My name is Frank Noll, here at the U.S. Scale Nats 2018, having a great time. You know, weather's kind of off and on, so you know, we're getting everything done. Behind me is my BVM F-16. It's one I'm entering in Expert Open class. That's they consider fun scale. It has a Jet Central Rhino, a 250 Mammoth in it. It's guided by 18MZ Futaba. It has all Futaba electronics in it. Everything is good. Just having a ball with this airplane. Full scale is made by General Dynamics, and it is designated as an F-16. The nomenclature is kind of like they call it the Fighting Falcon. It was the Air Force's primary fighter for the longest time. Thunderbirds, which the scheme that this one is configured in, is used for their Air Force demonstration team, and they usually have a 6-ship formation. The number designation on this one is number 5, which is one of the solo pilots, which as the formation has come through and made their maneuver, the solos will come through and do their individual stuff, and then they'll clear the formation and come back through. So if you've ever seen the Thunderbirds, it's quite a good show. It's quite really interesting. At the Nats, they have various different classes, depending on what the airplane is, whether it's a builder that has built it, designed it, and flown it themselves, or for instance, we have a King here that we're flying here in what they call team scale, which we have a builder, a real good friend of mine is Mike Barbie. I pilot the aircraft in that class. This particular F-16 is they call it a sport jet because it's not really built by the individual, you assemble it. Okay, but you're not going through the whole process of drawing plans and designing and painting and everything else. So this type of aircraft, as well as other ones that are here that are ARF and scale, are really easy for the average modeler to come in here and compete, you know, without having to go through 30 years of learning building skills and various techniques to be able to try to make it as authentic as you can to replicate the full scale. So one of the advantages of having the fun scale is, again, like the average modeler can, if he's got a cub, you know, he's just got a cub he's been playing with, he can bring the cub here and enter and compete against the other guys in his class. And there's probably 4 or 5 cubs here. There's a bunch of World War I airplanes. There's a lot of good stuff here that guys that probably have never thought about competing in scale, and that's enabled them to come in and kind of learn. You figure out what guys are doing, techniques and everything. So it's a great class for the individual to get into a scale. You're given 5 mandatory maneuvers out of 10 that they require you to do. Obviously, a takeoff and landing is 2. You have to do a figure 8 pattern, and that has to be geometrically centered over the field. You have a flyby, okay? It could be a very fast flyby, it could be a slow flyby to show the flight characteristics, and then the 5th one that they have is the judge's overall impression of the flight. They look at the whole flight and say, did it look like a real airplane? Okay. Now the other 5, the competitor can interject what they want to put in there. Like in this particular case, the solo pilot, he did various configurations of rolls, that type of thing. If it was a warbird, he could come by and drop bombs. He could, depending on what the airplane that you're building or what you have, you utilize its functions to your best advantage. I've been doing this a long time, and all the different facets of the hobby are really good for perpetuating, getting youth into it, which is really, really good. Just recently, last week, we had Camp AMA here, which is a perfect foundation for getting young people away from their laptops, away from their phones, and get them out here and breathe some fresh air. You know, have some fun, experience flight. You know, and a lot of times that'll lead into aviation careers. You know, there's a lot of guys that I've known that over the years that have been modelers that are now full-scale corporate pilots, full-scale airline pilots. They're in the UAV industry. It's an amazing launching pad for aviation for youth. So I mean that's probably the biggest thing that I really try to push in the hobby.